today's public hearing. The board would ask if you would please put your phones on silent or vibrate so as not to disrupt today's proceedings. We would appreciate that. The procedure will be to go through the cases as listed on our agenda here. If you didn't pick up an agenda, agendas are available just over to my immediate left. And we'll go through cases that will be heard in public hearing today. The procedure will be I'll go first and present the cases on the walls here by means of a PowerPoint presentation. I'll present photographs that the codes department's taken, any site plans that you've submitted to the board, and summarize your case. After I speak, if you're here for a case that does not have opposition present, you'll have 5 minutes to present your case to the board. You will come up front here, sit to my right at these 4 seats just on the other side of this podium. On your desk will be a little black box there with a microphone. If you'll just push the push button, the light will turn green, and then identify yourself with name and address, and then present your testimony to the board. If you're here for a case and there is opposition to your case, applicants, you'll have 10 minutes to present your case. Each side of the case, both the applicant and the opposition, will get 10 minutes to present arguments to the board. That is 10 minutes in total and not per speaker. So if you do have multiple speakers, please divide your time up before you come up to speak. And then after in cases with opposition, once the applicant speaks first and then the opposition, the applicant will then get a chance to rebut testimony made by the opposition. After that, the public hearing will be closed, and the board will discuss and vote on all cases in front of you today as required by Section 1740-180 of the Metro Code of Law. This board is empowered by that section and Section 137207 of state law to hear cases that are on our agenda today. But before we begin, I do have a preliminary announcement of one case that has been postponed, and that is case on page 2 of our agenda, case 2025-70, Marissa Biddle at 927 Curdwood. That case has been deferred until August 21st. As I talked about off camera, August 21st, we should be back in Howard School in the Sunny West Auditorium. If we are not, we will certainly get the word out quick that we will be back in this room. So case 2025-70 will not be heard today, be heard August 21st at the Sunny West Auditorium. And then finally, on the next to last page of our cases on our agenda, case 80, Melissa Hardaway. That case has been withdrawn by the applicant. Remember, she has refiled, just we'll do it at a later date. So she'll be back at this board at a later time. I know the board does allow council members to speak before the public hearings begin and before consent agenda starts. I've talked to Councilmember Bennett. Are there any other council members present besides Councilmember Bennett? Okay, seeing none. And Councilmember, you wanted to wait until after consent. That's totally fine with us. Yes, ma'am. All right. So I mentioned the consent agenda. The board has a consent agenda. So prior to this meeting, the chairman reviews all the cases on the agenda, and if, in his opinion, the application you've submitted for meets the criteria for the special exception, if it's a special exception, or you've clearly demonstrated a hardship in the case, in the case of a variance, or if one of our cases today, what we call an item D appeal, a case where you're adding on to a grandfathered structure. If, in his opinion, you meet the criteria for that case, he recommends the remainder of the case for what we call our consent agenda. And what happens is I'll call out those cases recommended for the consent agenda. And if you're here in opposition to any of the case numbers I'm about to call, raise your hand, please, and we'll pull them off the consent agenda and hear them in the regular order as listed in our agenda. So the first case recommended for the consent agenda is on page 3 of our docket. That is case 2025-73. The Marchetti Company is the appellant for a property located at 3518 Hampton Avenue, requesting an addition to a nonconforming single-family home in RS40. Are there any parties present opposed to case 73? Seeing no opposition, Mr. Chairman, the next case recommended for consent is case 2025-74. Zachary and Victoria Griffith, the appellant and owners of the property at 4600 Elkins, requesting a variance in the fence height requirements in the RS-75 district. Are there any parties present in opposition to case 74? Okay, Mr. Chairman, seeing none. The next case recommended for consent is on the next page, case 2025-76, Yancey Lovelace, the appellant, Sparklebox LLC, owner of the property at 4605 Sloan Road, requesting a variance of street setbacks in R6. Are there any parties present in opposition to case 76 on Sloan? All right, seeing none. The next case recommended for consent, case 2025-77, Cindy Binnicker at 4611 Nevada Avenue, requesting a variance from the fence height requirements in RS5. Are there any parties present in opposition to case 77? Okay, Mr. Chairman, seeing none so far. Next case recommended for consent is case 2025-78, Jennifer and Severo DeLuca at 1440 15th Avenue South, requesting variance in the fence height provisions. Are there any parties in opposition to case 78 present? Chairman, seeing none. And the final cases on consent agenda on the final page of our docket, case 2025-79, Ms. Julie Robertson at 517 Oakley Drive, requesting a variance from a street setback to construct a covered front porch. Are there any parties opposed to case 79 present? Seeing none. And then finally, case 2025-81 is recommended for consent agenda. I do have a note for the record that Ms. Davis will be deemed recused on this case. Is there any opposition present to case 81 for Trinity Commons at 204 East Trinity? Mr. Chairman, that is your consent agenda. There are no persons in opposition to the consent agenda. Just recapping. The consent agenda is cases 73, 74, 76, 77, 78, 79, and 81.
Is there a motion on those?
Move for approval.
Motion and a second. Any objection to those going on the consent agenda? Okay, all in favor? That passes.
All right, what does that mean? If you are here for these following cases, I'm going to call again. Cases 73, 74, 76, 77, 78, 79, and 81. Your cases have been approved. You are free to go. Follow up with the codes department beginning on Monday to secure any additional approvals you need for your building permit. And Mr. Chairman, I believe Councilmember Bennett wishes to have a word with the board.
All righty.
Forward.
Good afternoon. It's nice to see you again 2 months in a row, which is strange. You probably haven't seen me in a year or more or three. So I was actually sticking around for the consent agenda because Trinity Commons is a phenomenal facility and organization. And so I was excited to see that go on consent. Councilmember Parker, it's his district. However, I'm very familiar with it and was glad that he was supportive as well. So I'm here. I'm not going to be able to stick around, but I'm here to talk about case 2025-75. This is Stephen and Nancy Chavez on McAlpine Avenue. I just wanted to let you know that the appellant and I have spoken about this, and I am supportive. And so he has spoken with his neighbors. I think he'll tell you about that. He shared with me very extensive information about his conversation, so it's clear to me that he really spent some time talking with them. The neighbor next door is the Camp family, and the Camps in Inglewood and especially on McAlpine are a famous family that have been there for decades and decades, multiple generations. In fact, Clint Camp, who recently passed away, ran against me in my initial term, and after that, he and I became very good friends. And so again, that family is right next door. They're supportive of this, as the appellant will likely tell you. And again, after my review, I am also supportive. I'll be watching to hear your decision. I hope that you'll come along with me. I hope it looks like a good case to you and that you'll support it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And as always, thank you for your service.
Yeah,
Sorry, Chair.
Very much. Any questions before the council person? Okay, thank you very much.
We'll get started with today's. The first case before the board will be case, what did I do there? Case number 60. This was a case originally before the board at our last meeting, July the 17th. This case was tied on votes on a motion to deny by Ms. Carpenek, and seconds and votes in favor of that motion, Ms. Davis, Ms. Johnson, and Mr. Bradford, Mr. Pepper voted against the motion to deny. The applicant has, you all directed the applicant if he could amend his site plan. He has done so, and unfortunately, I don't have it incorporated in the PowerPoint. I do have the numbers incorporated, but I passed out to you all copies of a site plan. I've got an extra one here if somebody doesn't have one. An extra there. The gentleman's request initially, based upon the street setback average of the homes along that side of the street, required a 71.4 foot setback in the initial case. He was proposing a 31 foot setback, and he has revised it and pushed it back 11 feet and 3/10 back deeper. As you see, that's the current site plan, the original site plan, and then the new site plan has been presented to you all. But I guess before we dispense with, is there a entertainment by the board to either withdraw the prior motion or have testimony on this new plan? Or
I think that does the motion withdrawal have to be made by the person who made the motion?
Yes, sir. It would be.
And I think it was Ms. Carpenter.
Mm-hmm. So I'll move to withdraw the motion because we have a new site plan to review.
Okay, all in favor of that? Okay, so that motion is withdrawn, and so we go to a public hearing now, Mr. Hargis.
Yes, sir. If you wish to provide the appellant or any opposition, or is there any opposition present to Shepherd Hills Drive case 60? Seeing none, the applicant is here. He's happy to present, kind of talk with you if you'd like, sir. Come on up to the table there. Tell the board what's occurred since our last meeting and what you did as far as the plan itself and changes there too.
Give me one, good afternoon. Give me 1 second. Joey, I watched the last case, so I don't know if this is a new hearing, it matters or not, but I don't know if there's a formality around me being included.
No, I do think it's important that I did mean to poll you, and I apologize for that. And so the record will reflect that Mr. Ransom is now caught up to speed.
Good afternoon, guys. My name is Ali Nouri. I'm helping a friend of mine to build a duplex for him on 332 Shepherd Hills Drives. And last time I was here, we talked about the setback. So you guys asking if it's possible to move it more back. We didn't have that much time, but I was trying to get with my engineer, with the stormwater peoples, to see what is the best that we can do. We was already spent $20,000 for the plan, for pay everything, for all the fees. So with the new plan, this is the best we can do. If you guys approve it, we can build it. If you guys don't approve it, we don't know what to do with it, really.
Okay, well, we appreciate that. You may have some questions here from the board members. I'm trying to open up your application and my computer's not cooperating, so apologize. You have the old one? Okay. That's not opening for me. Thanks. What's it,
If you look at on the street, that street is have a little bit curve. So
but you brought it back how many feet?
with 11.
11 feet is what
Yeah.
you brought it back from the prior site plan.
Yes. It was 30, we push it back to 42 and a half.
So I think the difference is original plan was driveway was left side of the structure. Seems like now moved to the right side of the structure. And also the materially original plan says concrete drive, but now it says pavement. So I think it was, I'm assuming, the result of consulting with the Metro Stormwater.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
in this plan, I don't see any rain garden, but I think it's just a quick oversight. So you will have to still follow whatever the Metro Stormwater requires as far as rain garden or French drain or whatever the mechanism might be. Am I
Exactly.
correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was fine with this the first time because I think the property's beset with hardships. So, I mean, I'm obviously going to be fine with it being 11 feet further back. So that's where I am on it. I know others may have different opinions.
Well, I was originally really concerned because, average setback was 71 foot on that street. And it was asking initially half of that. But after I've seen it and still the plan have to follow strict Metro Stormwater guidance and regulation. And I clearly see the effort from the applicant to cater to this specific. So I do appreciate that effort. And also this particular location is end of the cul-de-sac. So I will still have like a really hesitant if it was located in the middle of the established neighborhood. But having that location at the end is not really kind of disrupting established neighborhood. So I am a bit opening up closer to Mr. Chairman's side.
This is just more of a comment for the applicant to go off what Ms. Davis said in the previous hearing. Ultimately, I think it's the onus. I know it's not a self-imposed hardship is. Our chairman said last time you're buying a land, it comes with encumbrance, but the onus is on the person who owns the land or purchases the land to understand the restrictions and not come in here with kind of a blank slate, if you will. That being said, I've reviewed the case and I see the changes the applicant's made. It is the end of a cul-de-sac. Unless something crazy happens, I don't see the street continuing. I think this is more or less the best case they can do without, I guess, putting garages in the front. So, which would really only, result in maybe an additional 10 feet. And I'm not a big fan of that either. So, anyway, I want to make that comment, but I'm leaning on the more supportive side.
Oh, yeah, I'm done with it. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I just
I
wanna-
do like how they're staggered a bit too, comparatively to the previous one.
I'd rather it be like this. So
Let me see.
it faces the road. So it's not an angle. I just think that's disruptive of the pattern, but it's,
That's 40, I'll get you 42.
I measured it out and you can rotate it, but clip off the drive. I'll see how you all vote.
And that's what I was trying to,
Anybody else want to weigh in, or just I'm glad to make a motion, but I don't want anybody. Okay.
But I'll be abstaining from voting.
Oh, you're abstaining, okay. Okay, well, I'll make a motion to approve based on this new site plan, and based on the hardships that exist with respect to the floodway and on the property, so.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay,
Sort of back in on the vote and support the motion, only because I do think we see a lot of these, and I think sometimes applicants don't really have a good attitude about amending their plans, and so I really do appreciate the applicant's willingness to go back, and so quickly, that he came back quickly. He was very, I think he listened to our feedback, and so I really actually am grateful for that. And so, in light of the hardships, especially the roadway, and then I think, isn't there like a power line behind
There, I think
So,
there is, yeah.
We've got a lot of hardships. He brought it back a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and support it.
And for what it's worth, the tightest corner is 43 and the other corner, there's no measurement on here, but it looks to be 50 and change, 55
Okay.
further back.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's not any further discussion, we'll vote. All in favor? Okay, so that passes 5-0.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, sir. The, okay, Mr. Chairman, our next case, the board will hear is, let me get over to that slide. Our cases 2025, 71, and 72. I put them together in the slide. You guys can certainly and can deal with them separately. The variances themselves are identical. So we'll need motions for separate cases, but you'll see in my photographs and site plans that they are two adjoining parcels. The subject properties are located here. My laser pointer are these two parcels, this one here and this one here. These two substandard lots are legal building lots. And the applicant had proposed to construct the following, and I'll zoom in on these for you. The first will be a new single-family residence with a 12.5-foot street setback and a 10-foot rear setback. And then likewise, let me zoom back out. Then the second structure would be located similarly with 10-foot setback at the rear, 12.5 out front, and then a parking pad. I think maybe initially you all were given a different site plan than the two that we see here in your packet. And I think there was a note of a parking variance. There is no parking variance here needed. The space provided on the site will work for that parking areas because they are allowed to stagger parking in 1 and 2 family. You can stack them one behind another. But so what is the variance between the two cases are both the street setbacks out front, which will be along Fain Street, require 20-foot minimums. They're asking for 12.5, and then also both lots require a 20-foot rear setback, and they're providing 10 feet. And then these are ground shots of the lots in question. Here's the first, and the second is located thusly, and then a view looking east and west along Fain Street. And checking for, and I'm going to come back to this slide and hold it here, and I'll ask at this time, are there any parties here in opposition to cases 71 or 72? Anyone opposed to these cases? Anybody supportive of these cases? Okay, good. Making sure. So no opposition present. If the applicant's present, if they'll come forward and present their case to the board, yeah, please, right over there. Press the push button right in front of you. If you'll identify yourself, please, and make your case to the board.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rose Nguyen. I am representing Howard White today. So, yes, we are wanting to request a variance for front and rear setback. I understand that there was a house built on the property beforehand. So, given that there was a dwelling unit there, we're wanting to see if we could, build there. Are there any questions?
I'm not sure the actual ask, because what was in our board packet was different than what's on the screen. And so what was the required front and rear setback, and what are you requesting?
Yeah. Oh, Ms. Carpenter, on the screen now are those asks. Yes, ma'am. Those are correct. I replaced the site plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was so focused on the drawing, I didn't
Yeah,
see that.
no problem. The street setbacks, they're required 20 from both front and rear property lines, and they're providing 12 and a half on front for both houses and 10 feet for both. And that leaves them, I'll pull up the PDF so we can zoom into it a little better if their drawing, so we can see that a little clearer for you. The applicant is correct. There used to be a home on one, I know for sure one of the lots, if not both, at some point in the past, because we had from the late 80s, mid to late 80s, code violations listed on those in our system, and ultimately at one point a demolition order on one of the two lots. So that is the saving grace for both of these lots, even though they're substandard in size. Mr. West and zoning administrators up to me have always taken the position that if there was a home on a substandard lot, we're going to let them build a single-family residence back. And I'm intentionally stalling to give you the PDF for each of the lots here.
Okay, so I can't open, I downloaded everything, but it won't open. As I recall, your hardship is the size of the lot, is that correct? Okay, and can you put the site plans back up? Because I couldn't tell, on the survey, I could not tell what was the boundary. Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Could you, that'd be fantastic, thanks.
So while we are looking at the site plan, I have a question. I don't know if it's to you applicant or maybe to the zoning administrator. Looks like that lot has like 3 parcels, and this plan is asking to build 2 of those 3. And in any future plan for the largest parcel, would that be the later consideration?
Yes, ma'am, it would be. This request is just for the center and the far right of the parcels. The larger of the 2 parcels is likely to meet setbacks fairly easily on that. That house, when permit time comes for that house, they will have to face it toward the west, the shorter of the lot lines. Their setback off of Fane will only be 10 feet required under the zoning code. The reason hers are 20 is because her front doors are facing this street. So you'll have a block face of 12 and a half, and 10 once that all gets built out.
So proposed house, 2 houses will be facing the street Fane, which is a lower bottom portion of this screen.
Yes, ma'am. And then this lot, the house has to face this
The other way.
to the
Okay.
west. Yes.
Clear, thank you.
So we're talking about 3 different parcels.
What's before you today are just these 2 smaller
Okay.
tracts.
Okay, all right, I got you.
It's the same. Joey, refresh my memory from the front setback for 20 feet. Is there any other particular reason for 20-foot setback other than that's just what it is?
No, sir, there's not. Here in this instance, the block face for this, we do cross alleys for a block face. So for us, we treat from public street to public street. This home here faces to the east, so I can't use it for contextual setback. If I had another home facing south, we could use it, but 20 is still going to govern because it is what's required in the zoning code.
Right.
And our setbacks are if there's an average or a table or a plat, whichever is greater is going to govern.
Just want to make sure there's not some other reason outside of that.
Yes. Because council said so. That's
That's fine.
why they picked 20.
I know.
Some other jurisdiction picked 20. Just
I mean,
to
like
pull
you-
behind the curtain, we don't write zoning codes from scratch.
And I made that assumption, but I mean, there are other setbacks. You mentioned the other one by right could be 10 feet. The one down the street looks to be 10 feet. There's another one that looks like it's 0.
This one here.
It's right on the
Yeah.
It's right on the sidewalk. Then you go the other direction. then there are some front-facing homes that do look 20 feet back. It's kind of all over the map.
I'm pulling up our most current aerial photographs to give you an idea of what's there, if I can share with you.
Look at this.
There you go. So that's the current layout of homes in the area. All right, as you talked about, on other block faces, they do sit fairly close.
Joey, is that the new parcel viewer?
Yeah, this is the new parcel viewer. This is one of the images that you can now look at. When you identify a parcel, you'll pick view imagery, and it's one of the options of different images you can pull up, aerials or pictometry. And this one, we like to use this one a lot because it gives you the date that photograph was taken in this upper corner. And it's even from there you can kind of go through time. We've caught some folks building things over time by being able to go back to 2007 and see what was there.
Well, I mean, they look like, I think there's a hardship in the size of these lots. They're substantially smaller. My question was, from what we had in our package, I was kind of unsure of where the boundary lines were, but now that I understand it, to me, there's a hardship. I mean, it's a 7.5 foot ask. It's not, I mean, that seems reasonable based on how small these parcels are, and I don't.
Yes, sir. If I could, Mr. Chairman, just add one thing. This is 2007 aerial.
Oh, yeah.
One of the two lots, you can see the former house on it. It was sitting basically at the sidewalk.
On the sidewalk, yeah. Oh, yeah, we need to close the public hearing, correct. So, thank you, ma'am. Does anybody have any questions for that? Okay, we'll close the public hearing and discuss further. I mean, I'll make a motion. We approve this, the hardship being the size of lots. Okay, there's a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, that passes. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry. I needed to break these up by case, didn't I, Joey?
You can, if that motion is intended for both cases, I'll enter an order.
Okay, yeah, I intended it for both 2025-71 and 2025-72. Is that sufficient enough for the record?
Yes, sir. It is for my purposes. All right. With that, cases 71 and 72 have been approved.
75.
All right, Mr. Chairman, we'll move on to our next. Okay, our next case, and here's the final case of the day, will be case 2025-75. Stephen and Nancy Chavez, the appellants and owners of the properties at 1205 McAlpine Avenue, requesting a variance for building coverage requirements in RS10. The appellant seeking to construct a new garage on the property. You did hear from Councilmember Bennett, who is supportive. Are there any parties present in opposition to case 75? All right, seeing none, just the applicants are left with us. Let me go through our my presentation first, and then Ms. Chavez, I'll turn it over to you. But just to get the board a little bit familiar, the zoning code has restrictions in most parts of Davidson County now, which were I said that very confusingly. Let me start over. The Metro Council created certain overlays that deal with accessory buildings on some portions of the county. The rest of the county falls under what this gentleman's requirements are, in that you are allowed to have outbuildings up to 50% of the footprint of the principal residence. In his case, the principal residence comes out about a little over 1,700 square feet. It computes out to 887 square feet is what you're allowed in outbuildings. Now, you can choose to put that in a single structure or you can put it in multiple structures, but consider it more of a pool of how big can I have stuff, accessory buildings in the backyard. This gentleman is proposing to build a 1,211 square foot footprint building, as you see in the site plan provided by the applicant, proposing to build that in the blue space. His existing residence is here. This is the existing footprint of the residence. So again, it's a ratio of structure to residence is what the code requires. But this is looking at the gentleman's property over on McAlpine on my visit back on the 21st of July, and then a view of adjoining properties there. But I will leave it here and turn it over to Mr. and Mrs. Chavez if you wish to come forward at this time and identify yourselves with your name and address and make your presentation to the board.
Good afternoon. I'm Caitlin Paul from Delta Civil Engineering.
Can you give us your address for the record, please, ma'am?
Yes, it's 1111 Owen Lane Drive, Murfreesboro.
Okay, thank you.
Can you hear? Perfect. Hi. My name is Steve Chavez. I am the homeowner at 1205 McAlpine Avenue.
Okay, thank you all.
Sorry again. Based upon the width of this lot, we really do not have an option of building on either side. It is quite skinny, is the best word, 56 by 364. So, and then the second option of building either on the back or front kind of becomes a bit of a domino effect in regard to compromising key entry points to the house and key windows. Subsequently, we chose to build a detached two-story, four-car garage, and in doing so, shaping that garage kind of to adhere to the theme of a long, skinny lot. So from the front of the two-car garage, which is 208 feet back from McAlpine Avenue, it will look like a standard two-story, two-car garage. We are proposing to just build a deeper garage to be able to accommodate my disease as a car enthusiast. So we have 3 cars currently. That can get up to 5 based upon marital situation. And as of right now, we have 3. And as a new resident of Nashville, which we love, I am struggling with the threat of hail. So I'm hoping to put these cars under roof for both security, safety, and frankly, to be a good neighbor. And then finally, as Ms. Benedict pointed out, I've spoken to both neighbors on each side. Torsten Sauer to our west, a lovely, soft-spoken German man of academic background, wife Lucia, friendly dog Josie, and they have no issues. And then, of course, to our east is the Camp family, and they are nothing but supportive. They own that house and all 4 lots across the street. So they're basically our other neighbor, immediate neighbor. So that is our proposal.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the applicant? None? Okay. Mr. Ransom has a couple.
Thanks for this detailed information. It's certainly helpful. I got a couple questions. So you said the intent of this is for car storage, but it looks like here the height is 2 stories, almost 20, it's 25.8 feet, 15.4 to the eaves. But there's no mention when you presented anything about this second story. And our board's general concern is always these things turning into apartments or what have you. So I guess I'm wondering what the intent of that is. And then why was it the second question is, why was it not wider again? I see what looks to be a concrete pad, but it doesn't look like you're restricted by any trees or anything else in order to do something that's, I guess, wider. And maybe it's just a design choice, but those are my two questions to you.
No, you can.
Well, the second floor is to be used for his wife's personal gym. She wants to put all of her exercise equipment up there. It's not intended to be an apartment. As far as the lot and the constriction on size, they cannot put if they were to add this as as an attached structure, it would cut off their entire, their back doors out of their house, the back windows on that side of their house. And it limits, you can't even turn around out of there if you pulled that closer and actually attached it to the home. As it is now, they've got this parking pad where they can back their cars out, maneuver, and go out head first out of the driveway.
Maybe this was just a comment from the applicant. You were talking about you designed something long and skinny as opposed to wide, not necessarily attaching it to it.
Oh, that would be because if it's long and skinny, then you don't eat up the entire width of the backyard. If he makes it wide, then it's still the same issue as far as the amount of lot that's being covered.
Right.
You know, the limiting factor here is his existing home's square footage is 1,700 square feet, and that limits him to 887. And so he's only asking for an additional 324 square feet.
Okay, thanks.
I can add to the approach of going wide instead of adhering sort of to the long and skinny shape of the lot is to the left of the garages our outdoor living space. And if we would go wide, then that would have to then be moved and placed likely behind the garage, which is not ideal.
All right, thank you. And one question for Joey, but remind me what the zoning is for, let's say they had a carport attached, same thing, whether it's a covered, it's really the coverage, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's say they had a smaller garage that met the requirement of 887 square feet, but then they had a kind of a covered porch on the side that also allowed for additional parking. That's, even though it's not enclosed, that still counts as coverage, right?
It does, yeah.
All right, that's what I thought.
The code just looks at it. It doesn't look at it volumetrically, it's just a footprint.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
If they attach the garage to this home, they could build an unlimited amount of an addition if it was attached?
Right.
Yes, they could build this garage of this size attached to
And
the-
attached has to be a conditioned space, or attached has to be,
It does have to be enclosed, fully enclosed, common roof on floor. That connection for us, that's up to them if they want to condition it. But it does have to be, I think, umbilical. Well, if I'm walking through a hallway, I'm not going outside at any point to get to it. And one thing I was looking at just for my clarification, do you have any covered decks, covered porches that maybe aren't reflected in your site plan by chance? Because those items attached to a house add to the mathematics of what allowable square foot.
We do not. The box off the back is a hot tub,
Gotcha, okay.
which is available if you're curious. That's not us. So, and will be eliminated as part of this process, actually.
I've actually got one more question for the applicant. From what I can tell, it looks like there's some topography on the land. This is really kind of height of existing residence versus the height of the garage. There's no topographical information on this plan that I can see. But it looks like, from what I can tell, the yard is higher in the rear and then it comes down, right?
Yeah, there's a very gradual incline from McAlpine back to the back
Right.
property line.
So, rough math, this this structure starts 50 feet and change from behind the existing residence, and then the structure itself is 50 feet and change. And I have, I know you're not asking for it, but I have no way of telling how this is going to sit and what this measurement of height is. It says 16 feet to the eaves, but that varies as you go around this structure due to the topography of the land. I'm trying to make sure as it doesn't sit beyond. And is that something, Joey, that's confirmed later with, outside of this?
It is, yes, sir. As part of the permitting process, our examiners will check to see
Okay.
that situation.
Yeah.
I included the contour elevations if it's any.
I mean, I know the garage will be on grade and looks like the house is raised a little bit, but. Okay.
Any more questions for the? No. Okay, well, thank you very much. We'll close the public hearing and discuss. Here, I'll tell you what I'm struggling with here is, assuming there's a hardship and it's the size of the lot, I'm trying to relate the hardship to the variance. I mean, they can build what the code allows, which is 887 square feet. And whether it's a sideways garage or it is, to me, that's not relevant. To me, the relevant thing here is assuming that there's a hardship here with respect to either the topography or size of the lot, how does it warrant the deviation from the code in terms of the size? But I'm open to, it is a skinny lot.
That's what I was struggling with. And I think about the other man in Inglewood who had a bunch of cars and he'd been there like all that time that we heard within the last year, and we made him tear up his garages because it didn't meet the code. So the applicant is super charming and I want to get there, but I'm like, this just feels like a want not connected to a hardship. And I can't get there because we have historically denied a bunch of garages based off of same reason. Yeah. So that's my only struggle. It's not that I don't want to approve it. It's just like when I think about all the garage cases I've heard over the last 5 years, we don't give them for this reason. There has to be beyond just, I want it for storage or something. So that's my struggle.
And there have been quite a few of those. I
Yes.
recall those too. Yeah. So.
And then,
But just looking at the narrowness of the lot, do we start running into issues with pulling in and turning radiuses and everything else? Because if this is if we change the orientation of the entrance and connect it to the home, I'm not sure that they're able to turn and pull in and pull out correctly from the garage.
yeah, I think, I think about that case too, because he was the owner. Yeah, his was over the lot line. He already built it, but
And he had a bunch of cars, and that's why he wanted it. Like a 4-car garage is not a requirement. It's not.
Right.
That's not a
well,
necessity.
within 887 square feet, you can get a structure that's roughly 20 by 44. That will fit 4 cars. I don't know what kind of cars, these are monster trucks or what that is, but that could accommodate 4 cars. Is it the most roomy situation in the world? No. There's also other additional capacities, whether it's car lifts and other things too, that can also help with, we do that in some of our builds. And, that would turn essentially a 4-car garage into an 8-car garage. Now, I don't know where the first floor, second floor elevation is because they had mentioned they're going to have a gym upstairs, but there's plenty, within the 887 square feet, and with the addition of lifts, you can fit 8 cars in comfortably. And I just think it's a 37% increase. And this is kind of that odd, if you had a bigger structure, a bigger house, you could build this. The lot's huge. I don't think it's necessarily skinny. I think it's just skinny compared to its length, which makes it feel skinny. I'm kind of in that world where I'd like to give everybody everything, but I don't see the hardship here. And it's not like what he's required is like 400 square feet where he can't fit 4 cars in. And then you get back to the fact of he could attach it to the house and build whatever he wants. So.
So I think we literally do not see hardship, and we do agree four-car garage, that's what applicant wanted to build, but just because applicant asked for without a variance, should we grant the variance? I mean, yes, lot may be narrow, but like you said, Mr. Ransom, they can build four-car garage, not necessarily 50 by 25 as, applicant proposed. They can shrink and try to meet within the ordinance because 50% of the coverage. Or if applicant has some addition or porch to existing house, they maybe increase the size of the garage. So that's where it is. But I think as it proposed does not meet our guidance to determine if there's a hardship or not.
Well, I'll make a motion, we deny the application. So,
I'll second.
okay, there's a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, so
Undecided, I guess I'll be opposed.
okay, so 4-2-4 in favor of the motion, 2 opposed, so, okay. Yeah. That motion passes.
Ms. Carpenter, for my purposes of creating an order, are you abstaining or you're opposed or?
I couldn't decide, and I just decided at the last minute to go with my fellow architect. He made a sound argument, so I went with him.
Okay.
I wasn't ready to make a decision.
All right, no problem. All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. With that, this board stands adjourned today. Thank you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.